Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining Legion Capital's 2021 Annual Shareholder Meeting. Today's meeting will be led by Legion's Chairman and CEO, Jim Bird, along with President Paul Carazone. Mr. Bird will begin by providing an overview of the company, the transition to being publicly traded, company success, and the vision for future operations. Following Mr. Bird, Mr. Carazone will discuss Legion's lending services and future growth initiatives relative to the lending portfolio. If you have any questions during this webinar, please make note and email them to info@legioncapital.com and a representative from the Investor Relations Department will get back to you. At this time, I would like to welcome Legion's Chairman and CEO, Jim Bird.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everyone, for attending our shareholder meeting. First and foremost, on behalf of the board of directors, on behalf of the executive management team, and of course our hardworking team, both in our home office of Orlando, Florida, but also in the various offices throughout the country. We truly appreciate from the bottom of our hearts the fact that you have become shareholders in our young company, and our company that's very exciting and has so much possibility. And we're so appreciative that people were able to see the vision for Legion with us and become a part of our shareholder family so early on in our company's growth cycle. So very appreciative of that, and we're really excited to have the opportunity to speak to you. Of course, it's a very unique time, and normally we would be having this meeting in person and hopefully getting the chance to meet many of you in person, some of whom have been shareholders for several years now, some of whom are newer shareholders. But for now, we are obviously conducting this meeting by electronic means, and yet we're still very happy to be here and very, very happy to be speaking with you. As to Legion, as most of you know, Legion is a private equity lender, meaning that we are a commercial business lender at our core. That is our core business. We make loans to small and emerging companies, mid-sized companies, with particular focus in the real estate and real estate development, construction, infrastructure spaces. We also at times, in addition to being a lender, we will sometimes take an equity ownership stake in a particular project or a particular business or particular company, hence the private equity side of the business. So we are a lender first and foremost, but we also at times become an owner in the project or in a particular enterprise. So we have focused in the last several years on a marketplace that has become, in my view, one of the most prolific and hottest markets that I've ever seen in my lifetime, having been in business now for 4 decades, going on 4 decades, and that is the real estate development housing market. And of course, we didn't set out necessarily to make that our main focus. That was certainly an area that we had deep specialties within, and an area that we had identified as a significant growth area for us. But during the last several years, of course, the market has been so intensely hot that it has really caused us to put a lot of our focus and resources directly into that marketplace, because it is such a tremendous opportunity for us. Of course, we are here located as our home office is in Orlando, Florida, and it just so happens that Orlando, Florida is probably, if not the number one, certainly one of the top 2 or 3 hottest growth markets for new housing and real estate development nationwide and probably globally. It's a marketplace that has seen extraordinary growth for decades upon decades. I think the last number I saw was that Orlando had seen 1,000 new residents per week come into Orlando for 60 straight years. So since Disney World came along back in the 1970s, it's a market that has continued to grow. We're very fortunate to call Orlando home as a company, and we've been able to tap into that marketplace and become truly a leader in housing development finance, especially for small and independent development firms here around the Central Florida area. So our company model is, as I said, is as a lender. We have a significant focus in real estate development, particularly new development and new housing, as well as related industries such as infrastructure, construction, et cetera. And with that, We have been very fortunate the last several years as we've been able to refine our focus specifically into those areas, that we've been very fortunate to have grown a very nice business in that lending space, led by Paul Carazone, who's our president and who's going to speak to you momentarily about that particular business and our portfolio. We have been able to really become, as I said, a leader in the Central Florida area for housing finance. We have that opportunity first and foremost, not just because of the fact that the housing market is so strong and growing so rapidly, particularly here in our hometown, but also because the banks and the conventional lenders, the institutional lenders, are still just not lending to smaller businesses, to smaller developments, to early stage real estate developments. They still are not in that business. And because of that, there is a big hole, a big void in the marketplace for early stage finance in the real estate development space. And Legion Capital has been very happy to step into that space and become a leader in that particular part of the lending cycle. So we're growing that lending footprint very rapidly. We're looking to grow it exponentially, really, over the next 12 months, 24 months. We have a tremendous pipeline of opportunities in front of us, seemingly endless supply of opportunities for getting involved in new loans and new housing developments, much of which is right here in our own backyard, as I stated. So we're really excited about continuing to push that initiative and continue to push that footprint in the real estate and housing development finance side. As Matt mentioned, we did go public and list the company in the end of 2021, in the earlier part of this year. And we chose to list the company on the OTCQX initially, which is the highest level of the OTC marketplace. It is a very good high-level marketplace. We chose the OTCQX for a number of reasons, cost being a big one. As a small company, it seemed to be the most suitable space for us, especially early on as a public company, and we're real excited to be a part of that marketplace. We really have a very, very early market for our stock, so we really don't have much in the way of a public market for our stock yet. We're allowing that market to develop naturally. So we're not trying to go out and create a bunch of, media or marketing around it initially, because we want the company to be able to develop that market based upon the performance of the company, which we do believe is going to be significant over the next several years and beyond. So we're staying very patient, and we're asking, of course, our shareholders as well to be patient with us, because we think that the market for the Legion stock will be one that is going to grow and continue to grow in both in terms of its strength and its depth, and hopefully its pricing as well, as the company, we believe, will continue to perform better and better as the quarters and the years go by, and continue to post what we believe will be strong and growing revenues and profits. And so we feel like we're in a great place. We're very happy with having brought the company public early on, and even on a small market, because we know that there is an opportunity for us to grow, both in terms of the company and the business, but as well the public stock valuation. The public market is something that we're really pleased to have been able to get involved in here for our shareholders the earlier part of this year. As far as the future, Matt asked about that. We have we have a very focused business plan right now, a very focused business model. What we're doing right now is working. It's growing, it's profitable, and it has endless opportunities for us, really. So we're not really out looking for different things to do right now, or different opportunities to acquire, because the business that's right in front of us is so good and strong and opportunistic for us, that really for us, we're going to just continue to bring in new capital and continue to deploy that capital within the current lending portfolio, and of course new lending opportunities, and continue to grow that business. We were able to publish unaudited first quarter numbers here in the last several weeks, And we had a first quarter that showed significant growth over our first quarter from a year ago, as well as a quarterly profit, which we're very proud of. Again, be mindful of the fact that that is unaudited, but we're confident that the company was able to post a first quarter profit. And we look to hopefully continue that trend and continue to grow profit as we go forward. 2020 was unquestionably a challenging year for everyone, and anyone who was in the financial services space as well. Was certainly a challenging year. Legion was able to come through it, I think, stronger because we were able to a couple of things. We were able to, number one, really focus on the things that were working well for us. So we were able to essentially really clean up our balance sheet in 2020. COVID, really gave us, I guess, some opportunity, if you will, to take a long look at some of the older assets, because COVID was very specific in certain industries that it struck. So we were able to sort of clean up some of those older assets and write them off at the end of last year, which really gave us a clean slate going into 2021, heavily focused in the areas that are really working for us and really profitable. And it allowed us to get off to 2021 with a very strong start. As I said, a small quarterly profit, and we believe revenues and profits will continue to grow as we continue to grow the lending business. So we're very excited with where we are. I mean, the company is sitting here today. The company is stronger than it has ever been before. It is better capitalized than it has ever been before. The assets are stronger than they have ever been before. The revenues are strong and growing, and we're positioned, I think, for a tremendous period of growth for Legion Capital and for the shareholders here in the coming months and coming years.
Thanks, Jim. That was an excellent overview of where Legion is today and where it's come from. I want to talk to people about what Legion's lending services are. Legion today is a Florida-centric specialized first mortgage lender with a strong focus on residential real estate projects. The size of our typical loan in our portfolio ranges in a sweet spot between $2 million and $5 million in our loan facilities, though we do consider loans of a larger size as well as smaller sizes. We're a relationship-driven business, meaning that fundamentally we look first at the relationship, which is more important than the underlying specific transaction. That's sort of the heart of one of our philosophies in business. In any project that we look at, obviously the experience of the people and the businesses involved in it come first. We look for opportunities that, in addition to the quality of the people and the borrowers in our portfolio, we look at the actual project, wanting to know that that project is something that has a very, very high opportunity for that specific borrower. We want our projects to be, if not the most important thing in our borrower's world, certainly one of the top shelf items in their day-to-day activities. And then we drill down into a specific transaction. What is it about a current opportunity where Legion can help differentiate our services versus other lenders out there in the world? There's a general label for the type of finance that we do. It's labeled as an asset-based or asset lending type of business. We take a little bit of umbrage with that as we look at it, because our company is different. We add value with a focus on both creative structures as well as the creative documentation we put into a transaction. We are hyper-focused on the projects itself that our borrowers are looking to realize. We're hyper-focused as to how they make money, what the milestones in those projects are, and where that company or that business or that individual ultimately yields the type of equity they're hoping to make on those projects. And the reason for that is that circles back to our fundamental need to have a relationship-driven loan portfolio. And it also helps in the sense that we're adding the value to get the yield that we want in our portfolio for our shareholders that, again, differentiates us in the marketplace. We don't see a lot of competition for the type of product we offer. We see a significant amount of opportunities on a daily and weekly basis. We have an excellent core loan portfolio that has expanded now to about $20 million in projects, and we have a pipeline behind that of an equal size and growing. So in general, we like to, again, say that we monitor our transactions on a high-touch basis. We have a relationship-driven portfolio of loans, and we fundamentally back up into sort of a collateral analysis that even though we've avoided that asset-based loan labeling on the sort of the way we present ourselves, it is the cornerstone of our underwriting. Because at the end of the day, our job is to make sure that if for whatever happens, the people involved in this transaction, our direct borrower, these experienced relationships that we put together, so for any reason those disappear, those break down, and these things happen in life, it's the underlying assets that we're monitoring and paying attention to, and make sure that we have a very conservative leverage format against them. And that's the core business that we do. Looking towards the future. At this point in our corporate expansion, we want to do exactly what we're doing right now. We want to expand on what we do. We want to take advantage of scales in terms of what we do. We have a very experienced team of people with decades of a background in the lending world and underwriting world, and we want to take advantage of this unique opportunity in Central Florida and to continue to do and grow and monitor an excellent portfolio of loans. Long term, we were going to stay Florida-centric in what we do, but we have a national footprint potential in everything we do. Right now, our focus is on the Central Florida relationships, but we see and we monitor and we look at opportunities outside the Central Florida corridor, and we look at a significant number of opportunities in real estate outside of classic residential real estate. Core portfolio today is residential real estate. Long-term portfolio Legion will be secured assets expanding beyond just residential real estate and other things. And it will be not just Central Florida, but throughout Florida, and through those Florida relationships, expanding into much more of a national footprint of diversified assets.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Jim. We appreciate the insight and information that you were able to provide to us. As previously mentioned, please email any questions to info@legioncapital.com, and somebody from the Investor Relations Department would be happy to reply. We also encourage everyone to visit our website, legioncapital.com, for current information and company updates. Thank you again, and we look forward to having everyone on the next communication.